Kaylee and I have been friends since birth. Our moms went to the same MOPS group together.
Kaylee and I met in kindergarten when I was 4, and our siblings all played sports together. And then Abby, Kaylee, and I were all at the same school together in kindergarten.
The three of us were just each other's whole world, and we didn't really care what was going on with anyone else, really.
We were always called the Three Amigos, and the three little girls was always our names growing up. And yeah, it was just a lot of laughing and being goofy, and all of the stories we have, if we told other people, they would look at us like we were crazy.
When we were in 8th grade, we were all on the same volleyball team together. And one day we had a Saturday game, and Kaylee didn't come to the game, and none of us really knew why. She just wasn't there.
And I remember we all piled in the car and drove over to the McBeth's house, where we found out that Kaylee's dad did not wake up, and he had died unexpectedly. He was a super healthy, fit guy, and it was super hard. It was definitely the first time that we've really experienced something like that, and it was hard to watch our friend have to go through losing her dad.
We got closer through it. We went to Kaylee's house every single day that we could be there, that our parents would let us be there. We were there. Really kind of just made us more inseparable.
Just months after her father had passed, Kaylee had been really experiencing a lot of fatigue and exhaustion, and her legs were really hurting her. Every time we would play in a basketball game or a volleyball game, she didn't really know what was going on, and so her mom ended up taking her to the doctor, and they found out that she had calcium buildup in her heart.
As a friend, it's just hard to see your friend going through something like that. She just lost her dad, and now she has this sickness that's gonna change her life forever. It's just hard to see God's hand in that. As a little 8th grade girl, all you've ever known is happiness and good things, and then you see your friend's life basically crumbling around her. It's definitely not an easy thing to watch.
After a while, we all came to terms with what that looked like for Kaylee, and I think that Kaylee did a really good job at just keeping her attitude super positive all the time. You rarely ever heard her even talk about herself or complain about it.
The next few years, you honestly, if you didn't know any different, you wouldn't even realize Kaylee had this life-threatening illness.
It was hard because we were inseparable, and then we all decided to go to different colleges. Abby actually decided to go out of state to Iowa to Dordt College. I stayed in state at Metro State, and then Kaylee went to Colorado Christian.
The three of us had that kind of friendship where you could go a while without talking to each other or seeing each other, and then you just pick up right where you left off, and nothing ever changed. When I was out of state, we were just as close, and yeah, we just maintained a friendship throughout the first couple years of college. Felt like a pretty normal Monday. I was just going about my usual class schedule and practice, and I usually would meet up with my boyfriend between 2 classes, and instead of meeting me, he called me and said that you need to come to my room. And I was like, okay, that's weird.
I woke up to both of my parents at the end of my bed. I thought it was a dream, didn't really know what was going on. My mom was kind of rubbing my shoulder. They both had tears in their eyes. And I remember my dad not able to get words out.
So I went to his room to see him just standing there in tears, and I knew something was like horribly, horribly wrong, and he couldn't get it out, and so I didn't know what was going on. I
laid there in bed for a little bit, and my mom said, "Brooke, Kaylee's passed away. She's not here anymore."
He finally was able to say, "Kaylee didn't wake up this morning." And it's kind of just like getting hit by a truck.
I was in shock. I didn't really have emotion right then and there. I didn't know what was going on. I remember laying in bed for a while just thinking, no way is Kaylee gone. I just saw her 4 days before. We were hanging out, having a really great time. Everything was fine.
And being so far away from everyone, nobody at my school knew her, and I felt very alone.
The death of Kaylee changed me in a lot of ways. I've definitely seen a lot of death before, but I've never lost someone that close. That was like losing a sister.
Spent basically the next week together and crying and laughing, remembering Kaylee's memories, and just coping in whatever way we knew how to.
The thing that you always heard about Kaylee was that she lived life to the fullest, and she really knew how to love people. And that was something I took away from it, was I wanted to live like Kaylee did.
Going through something like that, it gave me a much deeper understanding of grief and of hurting people. I think before I had never experienced grief and sadness like that, and I feel like it's given me a softer heart towards hurting people, to try to help them understand what they're going through and how it could be something that could be used for good.
I know even to this day, I look back and think of all the things that Kaylee was to me, all the ways that she was a friend, a sister, a teammate. And I just aspire to be like her, because ultimately I know she was aspiring to be like Christ.
The last 4 years have been kind of a roller coaster of emotion. Go through those deep valleys of grief, and then you feel okay, and sometimes you feel guilty for feeling okay.
I definitely realized when Abby got married, just those big life events that, you know, we always talked about growing up together. We always talked about being each other's maids of honor at the weddings and being there to celebrate each other when, you know, we get pregnant and have children and start our families.
Having big life events like graduating college and getting married and, you know, becoming aunts to our nieces and nephews, and watching her siblings have babies. It's just, time kind of helps, but then you kind of get slammed in the face again with, dang it, she's not here.
I think these last 4 years I've really just realized that she is celebrating, and she's celebrating more than we can even celebrate down here. And I truly do believe that she sees what's going on, and she's happy for us, and she's just cheering us on.
Without God's comforting grace, there's no way we would have survived this.
Even through Kaylee's death, there were a lot of people that came to know Jesus as their Savior through her death, and because of the example that she led. And to me, that's comforting. To me, I know that that's what Kaylee would want, and that now she's in heaven, and that's all that matters to her, is that people come to know Jesus as their Savior, and that to me is comforting.
The only hope we have is that Kaylee's in heaven and we're gonna see her someday, and that's the biggest comfort in the world. And if I didn't have that, I don't know how I would have dealt with losing my best friend at age 19.
The hope in heaven, there's nothing more comforting than that, and I want others to have that hope. So I want to encourage everyone that we don't know. We're not guaranteed another second, another minute, and why wouldn't we want others to have that comforting grace and that hope in heaven?
We now know that Kaylee's okay, and when she was on earth and we found out about her heart, that's something we couldn't say. And now that she's in heaven, we know she's in a great place and she's happy, and that's all we could ever ask for our best friend.